shooting 40% from three over your last 8 games. Is that making open shots, or is it getting better looks?
I think it's a combination of things, but I think that, obviously we've put a large priority on guys that are shooting, especially at the forward spots, as far as, Kelly playing a lot at the 4 and the 5 right now, and Jonas has played more. And then, there are times where you go up and down in a rhythm. But I think that, regardless of what we're shooting, we have to be good on the other end of the court. And when we are, we give ourselves a chance to win. And then if we're shooting well, then, you have a night like the other night.
You guys went about a month without causing as many turnovers as you did early on, and then got back to the last few games. What did you think kind of went away during that stretch when you weren't causing as many turnovers?
What was it, coinciding with Marcus not being around? That probably had something to do with it, right? Because he's outstanding at getting his hands on balls. But we were pretty good at it even when he wasn't available. I think for us, it's about being in position, doing the right things, and just being aggressive, our aggressive selves. When we're, there have been very few games where we haven't been aggressive, but there have been games where we have been out of position. And there have been games where we've been hurt in either transition or on the glass that have ultimately cost us. When we do those things pretty well, then our aggression usually leads to turnovers. But it's not something we really talk about. It's certainly not something we stress. We never talk about get steals tonight. We talk about being in the right spot at the right time. We were better in the last 3 games because we were not defending well in the games prior to that. Now, we were playing good teams, Washington, Toronto, Dallas down the road, but we weren't defending well in most of those games.
You talked at the beginning of the season about when you decided to bring Evan off the bench, you were kind of intrigued with the idea of being able to bring him into a couple of different positions. How's that worked out over the course of the season, and how is it in this current incarnation when you kind of bring him and Marcus in together?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out exactly that mix, although we're a lot closer probably than we were 2 weeks ago. We're trying to do a lot of unique things with those 2 guys. If one has the ball, the other's cutting, or obviously Marcus has made shots, but Marcus and Evan can both also post. So we try to post those guys. It's kind of an inverted lineup when you think about those guys posting and our Jonas or Kelly and guys like that really spreading the court for us. And it's unique, but it finally, I think, really started to find some legs early last week, and we'll see if it continues. I'm intrigued by it.
Any thoughts on
Coach, the All-Star reserve is going to be announced tomorrow. What do you think the chances are Isaiah Thomas will get his name called?
I sure hope so. I mean, I don't know what the chances are. I know that however many coaches there are vote for it, and he sure deserves it. And it's like I just said in my radio interview. I hope that he makes it from the standpoint of how hard he works, how much time he puts in, how much of an impact he's had on us. But I think it would also be a feather in the cap of his teammates, because I think as much as he lifts them up, it's been a great situation for him, and they've been a big part of that. So I hope that happens.
thoughts on Marcus making the
Rising Stars game? Yeah, it's another honor. It's great to be a part of All-Star Weekend. Obviously Kelly and Sully have done that in the past, and it's a good sign when young players are invited to do stuff like that, especially when they've only played half the year.
And that's what I was going to ask you. The fact that he hasn't had a ton of games under his belt, but still did enough to impress assistant coaches. What would you say about kind of see how he's having?
Well, I think he can play a lot better, and he's getting better as the weeks go on and everything else. But he was the only rookie that I think maybe there were 2, maybe Capella did towards the end, but he was the only rookie that started in the playoffs last year, or one of very few. Certainly there weren't very many in the last 8 teams playing that were still playing at all. So it's hard to impact the league as a young player, and if you have any impact at all, then that's probably a positive sign. There's a lot of young players that haven't gotten their opportunity yet that are really going to have great careers, and we're all just going to kind of wait and see. But to have an impact early is pretty impressive.
How well do you know Mike Malone? What do you think of him as a coach?
Yeah, I don't know him great. I'm really impressed with him as a coach, and there's a couple of reasons why. In my small, brief interactions with him, he's been really interesting to talk to and enjoyable to talk to. I know Isaiah thinks very highly of him. But if I would have not known who the coach was, prior to watching film, I would not have said that I saw a lot of similarities between what they're doing, especially on offense, from Sacramento now to Denver. And I think that tells you how much of a, kind of a guy that can morph with the team and figure out what works best. And I like what they're doing on both ends of the court. I like their offense a lot. I like their pieces, and he's really done a good job. And he's coached it, to me, looks like at least a small tweaks in his style on the offensive end. So I think I say that as a compliment.